Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. You know, we got here early. I'm glad because it's going to be sold out.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You understand
Give it,
that,
give
right?
it 5 minutes.
I'll
Yeah.
give 5 minutes. Good. Okay. It's so amazing to be here at the Wood Theater in Glens Falls. My good friend Chad Rubinovitz, who's a producing artistic director for the Adirondack Theater Festival and also the film festival too, right? Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yeah. I don't get paid anymore, but yes,
Yeah,
same
that's
same
right.
job,
You know.
same job.
Well, I understand that part.
Yeah,
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 same
yeah.
in my world. By the way.
Nonprofit.
Good. I'm glad you got dressed up too. By the way, fixed your hair and everything.
Okay,
That's-
especially printed, it's got our logo.
see
So,
that.
you
Do I
know,
get one of those too? Or?
that's the only one actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you for inviting us. We got word a couple of weeks ago on specifics for the upcoming season. It's the fifth year that you've been
Yeah.
in this position, right?
Fifth
And
season.
I got news for you. I remember 5 years ago when we met, like it was yesterday, for a couple of reasons. One is that, of course, you're a very memorable person. But the other thing is that you just changed the face of this downtown almost single-handedly with your passion and your interest in theater. And that's pretty remarkable, Chad. Honestly, God.
And still the same paycheck, just so we're clear. No.
Oh, are we going to talk about money?
It's over. That's gonna do well for sales.
Right.
Well, hey, just trying as hard as I can to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just me. It's Jessica, our managing director, the board. We're doing everything you can to fill these seats and to fill downtown.
And you know what, something I also want to do a shout out to the community because the community shows a lot of support here. My wife and I have been to many, many places in the last 5 years, and it's always sold. You know what I mean? There's always people are excited to be here, and you can tell the enthusiasm in the audience and the way they react to the performers on stage. You know?
Yeah.
All right, this is really hard
Okay.
for you.
What is it? Wait, what are you gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Suppose I asked you to pick out a favorite. I got a couple that came to mind immediately, but I just in the 5 years.
5 years, I think, favorite memory of a show, Tesla is up there for sure.
That was one of my two.
I mean, I'd put any time that the audience is packed is certainly, like you said, the support, that's been there. You know, there's just so many. I'd say Home was a biggie for us.
was very
I loved that. Slime,
something?
I never actually had people come up to me after a show who just wanted to share their moments with me.
Absolutely.
So that was that'll stick with me for a long time. Slimes with Mark Summers was super fun for me.
Was
I just
fun.
loved it. We were just talking about Loch Ness.
Is Nessie here?
Nessie is in a
Where's
store.
Nessie?
She's in a storage unit in Saratoga.
Okay, sleeping. I hope.
Sure, sleeping.
Yeah, right. Okay,
That's-
good.
Yeah.
That was a fabulous show. So creative and so inventive.
And it's gonna be at the, I think, Finger Lakes Festival in September, and the producing team is looking to do a national tour after that. So again, we say that what you see here you can't see anywhere else in the world, and it starts in, you get to say I saw it first. You will get to say that you saw it first.
All right, so now let's get into the season. What does
Yeah,
it open
so
with?
Calling All Kates, and that's the one.
Oh, yeah.
It was. We did a reading of it last year, and normally for the readings we'll do it in the cabaret space. It has 100 seats, and if it sells well, I'll do a second one, and that's 200. But those sold out so quickly, we said, let's move it here to the main stage. We sold that out, so we did a second one, and we sold 600 tickets to this concert because the premise is so cool. And then I do a lot of these things. I've never had a reaction to a reading of a play like this one because the story is about a guy named Mark who plans a honeymoon around the world for him and his fiancee. Then she breaks up with him.
breaks up, right,
Yeah,
that's
and now he's left with tickets, which, as you know, are non-refundable and non-transferable. Thank you, airlines. And so he does a social media search to find someone with the exact same name as his ex-fiancee to travel the globe with him. I mean, like, how much more dramatic can you be when you've got someone who's going through the hardest time in their lives with someone who is now on this, adventure with them?
Tour.
Yeah,
You know,
and
that's
it's based on a true story. This has really happened.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard this
So, I mean, completely original for us, but can't believe that this story was
So I'd
real.
imagine that would be obviously the lead actor, the woman that travels with him, and I think you had said to me a couple of stewardesses because a lot of it takes place obviously in the interior of a jet, but you also go around the world.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we
right.
will very creatively travel the globe. We have a narrator / captain who takes us around, and we have 2 flight attendants who act as the service industry for them. Like if Kate's going to order an espresso. She's doing, I mean, we're writing this as we're speaking now, that the flight attendants were added based on the reactions to the audience and what we saw in the reading. So again, when we say that we're testing it out for our audience, we take the feedback, we now rewrite, and now we're going to show you the full production. And it's the show I'm looking forward to the most in the summer.
Oh,
It's
okay.
gonna be-
Well, there's one that really caught my curiosity. We're going to talk about it in just a second. But
Cool.
I heard that you also invited a friend of mine this summer, Percival von Schmutz.
Oh, you know Percival.
Do I know Percival? Come on.
You know everyone named you know a lot of
Well, I lived in
Percivals.
the Dark Ages.
Yeah,
you
of
know
course.
what I mean?
This is
All right,
the best
should we
segue.
should we let them in?
Yeah, I guess
okay.
so.
So what about old Percival?
Oh, Percival, you know, he's in a musical called The Enlightenment of Percival von Schmutz. And Percival is really the only hygienic person in the Dark Ages. He grows up in a time, I guess first I'll start off, this is Monty Python meets the Dark Ages. That's the best
an
way to
interesting
describe
premise.
it. It's so goofy, funny, but oddly meaningful and poignant about a guy who is really one of the only optimists in the Dark Ages. And as there's all this pestilence and plague around him, he decides that he's going to set out on a quest to bring the world out of the dark and into the light.
You know, there were you could relate that to some of the things that go on now, minus
could.
the plague.
I could.
In some sense, right? You know
And
what I mean?
yeah, and what's interesting is no matter which side you fall on of the aisle, it is wholly relevant to the world that we live in today.
absolutely.
And it's this battle of how do you find the light when you feel like you're surrounded by so much darkness, when you've got all this world around you, this
fabulous
negativity.
premise.
And we can laugh our way through it, and I'm telling you, you're going to have the most fun in a
You know,
musical.
I want to jump to the one that just caught. I had to go back and reread a couple of times what this setup is for a play called Sequence. And you said, hey, that's going to be mind-blowing. I got a feeling it gives new definition to that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great way to put it. There's nothing like this play out there. It's a science thriller, for one. You never hear of those. It's going to be directed by Marshall Paylett, who directed
that's
Loch
right.
Ness and
That's
Tesla,
right.
two
That's
shows
right.
we mentioned.
Right.
Just to set that up, to even set it up more for you, it's a major award winner from Canada. It's a Canadian playwright. It's won all kinds of awards, including Best New Script, Best New Play, and I've been working on bringing it from Canada over to America and developed it further, and now here we are. And okay,
You
premise.
have a history with this one. That's what you're referring to, right?
Yeah, so I've been
Yes,
doing that over a couple years, and now we're ready for what we think is the big time, and I think this is going to be the start of a nationwide production of it. I just think everyone's going to want this show. Here's the premise, because it's a lot here. It's Time Magazine's Luckiest Man Alive has bet on the Super Bowl coin toss 20 years in a row, double or nothing, and each year he's won. And now he's about to bet $800 million, double or nothing, to win 1.6 million or 1.6 billion, or come home with nothing.
That's right.
And at that point in time, a woman comes in who thinks she knows the mathematical secret behind his luck. And at the same time, there's another parallel story about a female scientist professor who thinks that while trying to cure her blindness has stumbled upon the luck gene. She thinks that she's found the genetic code to luck. And in order to test that theory, she needs to find someone who is a control, someone who's exceptionally unlucky. And one of her students guessed on all 150 questions on her test, multiple choice questions, he guessed all of them wrong, which is, I think it's something like odds of 1 in 7 quintillion. And so he feels that he answered them all wrong because of it was God's choice. And so we ultimately try to study whether or not luck is coincidental, whether it's divine intervention, or whether it is built into our DNA.
You know, you're going to have to try to get rid of this light fluff
Right,
stuff
right,
you're
I know.
doing. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, you're going to have to why don't you try to find something challenging?
Right.
Why don't you try to find something that people will be talking about weeks afterward?
Yeah,
it's
it's
unbelievable.
it's one
You know,
more make 'em think.
I know you well enough to know that no season goes by without something like Bo.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Well, this is, I mean, we've had our super fun, funny one. We've had
Your mind blower.
our mind-blowing drama. This is kind of like for the people who loved Home.
That's right.
Bo is this groundbreaking musical where all 8 actors are also in the band. So they're playing their own instruments in it. And it's a story of Ace Baker, a 12-year-old, who's learning to accept himself. And at the same time, he's grown up fatherless and finally reconnects with a grandfather that he never knew he had, his Pop Bo. And in reconnecting with his grandfather, he finds out, learns more about himself, learns to accept who he is, and all doing that while learning to play the guitar.
Tell me, those kind, and it reminds me of Home in this regard, you just totally relate to them from your own experience, It's terrific.
It's so moving. Like we've done there's a song in there called "Stop Running," and it's about learning to look in the mirror and not run away from what you see. And that song itself has had 15,000 hits already on Facebook. I mean, it's been the most watched video in ATF history in weeks.
When I pass the mirror, I always say, "Hi, Dad. How'd you make it?" What's with that? You know what I mean?
We can do a separate interview. We'll switch seats, and you and I can talk about that.
As usual, we're screaming out of time here. 4 original presentations. There are 4 special events. Go to the website.
atfestival.org.
Okay, atfestival.org. Tickets just went on sale. These shows sell out quickly. Support Adirondack Theater Festival. It is one of the most incredible, original, creative organizations.
Keep saying more good things about us.
But it's really true. I get so excited when we're going to come up here and talk to you. Well, it's great to see you again, man.
You too.
I can't wait. And you, go to the website, looktvonline.com.